Hello friends, we are going to read the 26 stories. The author is Andy Griffiths and the illustrator is Ted Denton. The 26 story treehouse. Chapter 1. The 26 story treehouse. Hi, my name's Andy. This is my friend Teddy. We live in a tree. Well, when I say tree, I mean treehouse. And when I say treehouse, I don't just mean any old treehouse. I mean 26-story treehouse. It used to be a 13-story treehouse, but we have had another 13 stories. So what are you waiting for? Come on up. Bunch of stuff here. We have added a Dodge gem carring, smash, crash. A skate ramp with a crocodile pit hazard. A mud fighting arena. Yay, mud! An anti-gravity chamber. No, my money. An ice skating pond with real-life ice skating penguins. A recording studio. A mechanical bull called Kevin. Turn it off. Did you say turn it up? A ATM that's an automatic tattoo machine in case you didn't know. An ice cream parlor with 78 flavors run by an ice cream serving robot called Edward Scooperhands. And the Maze of Doom, a maze so complicated that nobody who has gone in has ever come out again. Penguin Bros, where are you? Help, I'm lost. Are you crazy? Hazard. Enter at your own risk, certain death ahead. Stupid GPS. Help, fish. Fish. As well as being our home, the treehouse is also where we make books together. I write the words and Teddy draws the pictures. As you can see, we have been doing this for quite a while now. Hold the ladder steady, stupid possum. Ha ha. Sure, Teddy can be a bit annoying sometimes. Water, bucket, Andy, door, me, innocent. I'm not coming down. Grrr. We'll see about that. We'll see. Probably we'll see about that. Uh-oh. Oops. Idiot. Crunch. Probably that's a broken bone. But mostly we get on pretty well. Chapter 2. The story of how we met. If you're like most of our readers, you're probably wondering how Terry and I met. Well, it's a long story, but it's a pretty exciting one. And it starts like this. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a very big city. And in that very big city, there was a very tall tower. And at the top of that very tall tower, there was an apartment. And in that apartment, there was a little boy who was very lonely. Ring, 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 ring. Excuse me for a minute. That's our video phone. I'd better answer it. It's probably Mr. Big Nose, our publisher. Yep, I was right. It's Mr. Big Nose. Nobody else in the world has a nose that big. What took you so long, he says. I'm a busy man, you know. But it was only 6 rings, I say. Don't argue, he says. I'm a busy man. I don't have time to argue. What's the new book going? How's the new book going? So far, so good, I said. I'm telling the story of how Teddy and I met. Great idea, said Mr. Big Nose. How did you two clowns meet anyway? Well, it's a long story, I said, but it's a pretty exciting one, and I don't have time to listen to long stories, says Mr. Big Nose. Save it for the book. Just make sure it's on my desk by next Friday. The screen goes blank. Friday? But that's only next week. That doesn't leave much time. I'd better get moving. Now, where was I? Let me see. The faraway land, the very big city, the very tall tower, the apartment, and the lonely little boy. Andy, says Teddy, bursting into the kitchen. We've got a problem. What sort of problem, I say? The sharks are sick. What's the matter with them? They ate my underpants. I look at Teddy for a moment as I try to understand what he just said. I'm sorry, I say. I must have misheard you. It sounds like you said the sharks ate your underpants? I did say that, says Teddy. And now the sharks are really sick. They're just lying on the bottom of the tank, not moving. But why did you eat your underpants? Why did they eat your underpants? I mean, how did you even get them? Well, he says, I came up with the idea of using the shark tank to wash my underpants. I dangled a dummy over the top of the water, and the sharks thought it was a real person. And they were jumping all around trying to bite it. And that churned up the water, like in a washing machine. So then I put my underpants on the end of the stick and lowered them into the water. The sharks were jumping around so much, they knocked the underpants off the stick and then they ate them. Now the sharks are just lying on the bottom of the tank and they've gone a weird green color. You know, Teddy has done some dumb things in the past, but this has got to be the dumbest ever. Green, bottom of the tank. The top 5 dumbest things Teddy has ever done. Put jelly crystals lots in the penguin bath. Rode his horse along the beach and passed a sign that read, Danger, quicksand, it's going to work out just fine, horse. Went rowing with his elephant friend. Took his boa constrictor to a movie. One tried to wash his underpants in the shark tank. That sounds really crazy. What are we going to do, Andy, says Teddy. I'm not sure, I say. If only we knew somebody who loves animals and knows all about them and lives close by so they can get here in a hurry. Yeah, said Teddy. Somebody like Jill. Yeah, said I say. Somebody exactly like Jill. Hey, I know, says Teddy. Why don't we call Jill? Great idea, I say. In case you don't know who Jill is, she's our neighbor. She lives just on the other side of the forest and she loves animals and knows all about them. She's got 2 dogs, a goat, 3 horses, 4 goldfish, 1 cow, 6 rabbits, 2 guinea pigs, 1 camel and 1 donkey and 13 flying cats. Teddy leaps up. I'll call her on the video phone right now. But Jill doesn't have a video phone, I say. No problem, says Teddy. I'll just use my new, super flexible, endlessly extensible titanium coated talking tube instead. Looks like a very long tube. Tubey thingy snake. Stupid tubey thingy. Hey Jill, hey Jill, says Teddy. Can you come over right away? I'm kind of busy right now, says Jill. I'm having a tea party with my canaries. But it's urgent, says Teddy. The sharks are sick. What's wrong with them? Says Jill. They ate my underpants, says Teddy. Your underpants, says Jill. Oh no, how many pairs? 3, says Teddy. I hope they were clean, says Jill. Well, no, says Teddy. That's the thing, you see, I was trying to wash them. Oh no, says Jill. I'm on my way. Meet you at the shark tank to the treehouse, fast. Here she is now, says Teddy. Wow, I say, that was fast. Yes, says Jill, these flying cats are great. Turning Silky into a catenary was the best thing you've ever did, Teddy. Unlike feeding your underpants to the shark, which has got to be pretty much the worst. Jill peers into the tank. Poor things, she says. I'd better get and take a closer look. We watch as Jill and the cats dive into the tank. She tries acupuncture, dorsal fin massage, guided meditation. You are in a cool, deep ocean. You can see a body thrashing helplessly. Shark aerobics. Put your dorsal fin in, you put dorsal fin out. And more motivational movies. But nothing seems to work. Finally, Jill rises to the surface. They're definitely the sickest sharks I've ever seen. She says, they are so sick, in fact, I'm going to have to operate. Operate, I say? Yes, says Jill, I'm going to have to perform an open shark surgery. Oh no, sorry. Chapter 4, Open Shark Surgery. Can't open a shark? No way. You've got to hand it to Jill. She really loves animals, even sharks. I mean, I like animals and I think sharks are really cool, but there's no way I'd ever get in a tank and operate on them. Not even if they're too sick to move. Gulp, sharp inspection opening. Help me. And judging that by the way Teddy is trembling, he's not too keen on the idea either. No. Well, I say, I guess we'll have to leave you to it. Good luck. Bye. Where do you think you are going, says Jill. To the kitchen, I say. I'm kind of in the middle of telling the readers a story. Kitchen. Yeah, says Teddy, I better go as well. Andy will need me to draw the pictures. Me too. Oh no, you don't, says Jill. You both are staying right here. I need you to help me with the operation. But what about the readers, I say? Don't worry, says Jill. I'll deal with them. She turns back to us. I've explained the situation to the readers and they are fine with it. So get your diving suits on. Let's get started. We shrug, put on our diving suits and follow Jill. Stupid tight wetsuit. I don't know if you've ever been in a tank full of man-eating sharks before. Believe me, it's pretty scary. The sharks look even bigger down here than they do from up there. What if the sharks wake up and get hungry while we are doing the surgery? I say. They won't, says Jill. Trust me. But just to be sure, I'll give them each a dose of Dr. Numbskull's Sleepy Shark Sleeping Potion. Beep. My, what big teeth you have, Grandma. I hate needles. Can I just ask one question? I say, aren't we underwater? Yes, of course we are. She says, then how come we can talk? Sorry, Andy, but that's two questions. And we only have had time for one. Are you ready? Yes, but what do we do? Says Teddy. I've never operated on a shark before. It's not so hard, says Jill. All you know how you know how to work a zipper, don't you? Yes. Well, there's one about halfway down its belly. Just unzip it and empty the contents. Wow, I say. I never knew sharks had zippers. I unzipped my shark and peered through into its belly. As you might expect it for a fish, I can't see any sight of Teddy's underpants, but I can see some sort of large round object. I reach in and pull it out. Hey, look what I found. It's Captain Woodenhead's wooden head. Yikes, says Teddy. Says Jill, that's really creepy. Jill's right, it's really creepy. Even though the eyes are made out of wood, it feels like they're looking right at you. Comment down below if you think it's creepy. And it's quite a coincidence, really, because Captain Woodenhead is actually tied up with that whole story I was telling you earlier about how Teddy and I met. You remember that lonely little boy, the one at the top of the very tall tower? Well, Andy, says Jill, stop talking to the readers. Do I have to remind you that we are in the middle of the open shark surgery? Let's focus and get this job finished. Then you can blather away all you want. I'm not blathering, I say. I'm narrating. Jill and Teddy look at each other, rolling their eyes, and smile. Whatever, says Jill. Just save it till later. Hey, look what I found, says Teddy, holding up a pair of underpants. And I found a pair too, I say, pulling them out of my shark. And here's the third pair, says Jill, holding them far away from herself as possible. Teddy's underpants are disgusting, I know, he says. That's why I was trying to wash them. Will the sharks be alright now, I say. I hope so, says Jill. I think the best thing for them is to be zipped back and have a good rest. And the cats and I can take it from here. Back in the kitchen, our automatic marshmallow machine senses how hungry we are and begins firing marshmallows into our mouths. So, says Teddy, through a mouthful of marshmallows, what story were you telling the readers when I interrupted you? I was telling them the story of how we met. I say, oh, I love that story, says Teddy. We were both lost in the forest, and then we met and found the house made of gingerbread. And we started eating it, and a nice old lady came out and invited us in. Hello, boys. And then she put you in a cage to fatten you up. But she couldn't eat you, she could eat you, which come to think, which come to think of it really wasn't a very nice thing for a nice little old lady to do. So I pushed in So I pushed her into the oven, which, come to think of it, wasn't a very nice thing for me to do. But Terry, I say, that's not the story of how we met. That's Hansel and Gretel. It's a fairy tale. Remember how I told you Terry can be a bit annoying sometimes? Well, this is one of those times. Terry frowns and looks confused. Oh, yeah. My mistake, he says. I remember now. I was taking some food to my sick grandmother and I met you in the woods. You had big eyes, big teeth, and you were covered in fur in fur those days. Later you dressed up as my grandma's clothes. I never really understood why you did that. I didn't do that. I say how that's not how we met. That's Little Red Riding Hood. Teddy strikes his head. It is? Of course. Sorry, Andy. How could I be so dumb? Hang on. I've got it. There was a castle. We met at the ball and danced. But when the clock struck 12, you went running off and lost your glass slipper. I looked for you. I looked everywhere for you. I searched the kingdom far and wide, but Terry, I yelled, that's not even close. That's Cinderella. Terry shrugs. Then I give up. I've got no idea how we met. Well, I say, if you promise to be quiet for the next 21 pages, I'll tell you. Okay, says Teddy, I promise. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a very big city, and in that very big city, there was a very tall tower, and on the top of that very tall tower, there was an apartment, and in that apartment, somehow this is rubbed off. There lived a little boy who was very lonely. This little boy was very lonely because he didn't have any friends. And the reason he didn't have any friends was because his parents thought friends were too dangerous. In fact, they thought everything was too dangerous. What? In fact, they thought everything was too dangerous? No, sorry. They never even let the little boy out of the apartment. It's for your own good, darling. He lived in a padded room, slept in a padded non-fall-outable bed. He sat in a padded non-fall-outable chair, which for extra safety was fitted with airbags and a seatbelt. He wasn't allowed to watch TV. It's not good for your eyes, darling. No. He wasn't allowed to play on the computer. Too much electromagnetic radiation, darling. And he wasn't allowed to play with toys or any other sort of game. Too much risk of excitement, darling. All he had to amuse himself with were books with rounded corners, that his parents had selected for him. So these books contained no harmful ideas, no characters doing dangerous things, nor any stories involving dangerous or potentially dangerous situations, which meant that they didn't contain much of anything at all, really. The lonely little boy couldn't even eat proper food. His parents mashed and pureed all his food to make sure he didn't choke or served it cold to make sure he didn't burn himself. That is until one day his parents decided that even cold mashed up food possessed too much of a risk. So they put the little boy on an IV drip instead. And as if all that wasn't enough, his parents also filled the apartment with every type of safety alarm possible. They had fire alarms, flood alarms, burglar alarms, spider alarms, tiger alarms, vampire alarms, false alarms, alarms and false alarms. He also had the little boy fitted with a pair of emergency self-inflating underpants just in case he ever fell into water. They can be operated manually by pulling the cord in the front at the front. Now you might think emergency self-inflating pants are a very crazy idea. Considering that the little boy never felt even left in the apartment, but you would be wrong because as it turned out, they saved the little boy's life. One night while everybody was asleep, a power board overloaded with too many safety devices overheated and caught on fire. The little boy was woken by the fire alarm. He got out of bed and ran to the door, but his way was blocked by the smoke and the flames. He ran to the window, but of course it was locked. So the little boy picked up a safety chair, threw it at the window, and smashed a big hole in it. He climbed out through the broken window and stood on the ledge on the outside of the building. This was by far the most dangerous situation the little boy had ever been in. Well, actually, it was the only dangerous situation he had ever been in. He looked down at the ground below, a long way down below, way below. He looked back into his bedroom, which was now completely on fire. He knew jumping from the top floor of a very tall apartment tower was extremely dangerous thing to do, but he knew that staying in a burning apartment was extremely dangerous too, possibly even more dangerous than jumping from the top floor of a very tall apartment tower. So he jumped. Help! Stop! Shh! Andy! Down. The little boy fell, but he didn't hit the ground. Yikes! He hit a tree, then bounced off that tree into another tree, and then bounced off that tree into another tree, boing, and then hit a few more trees, boing, clunk, slap, before falling with a big splash into a nearby river. But the little boy couldn't swim. But as soon as he hit the water, his emergency self-inflating underpants activated and away the little boy floated. Floof down the river and eventually far out to sea. Was he alright, Sister? Well, as a matter of fact, he was, I say, because I rescued you in a pedal boat. Me, Sister? Yes, because you were the boy in the story. I was? Oh yes, now I remember. It was me, of course. It was me all that were you doing. But what are you doing in a petal boat? Well, that's actually another whole story, I say. Kind of. Well, I say, is it a long story? Kind of. Can we get an ice cream first? What a good idea, I say. Let's go visit Edward Scooperhands. This way to the ice cream parlor. Chapter 6, Andy's story. Come on, hurry up. At the ice cream parlor, I get a double scoop chocolate ice cream, but as usual, Terry can't decide what flavor he wants. Hurry up, I say. The readers are waiting. I'm sorry, he says, but there are 78 flavors here. I don't want to make the wrong decision. Maybe you could ask the readers to help you. Great idea, says Terry. I'll do that. What flavor do you think I should have? Yes, interesting. Perfect. Okay. Got it. Thanks for your help. I'll have one with the lot. Thanks, Edward, says Terry. One with a lot coming right up, says Edward Scooperhands as his scooper hands go into super high speed scooping mode. He scoops and scoops and scoops and scoops and scoops and scoops. So right on this page we can see chocolate, double chocolate, triple chocolate. We can see vanilla, very vanilla, strawberry. Now let's go to the next page. And scoops 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 and scoops. So there's cherry, strawberry and cherry, cherry and strawberry, raspberry and raspberry ripple, blueberry burst, banana blast, watermelon whammy, goldfish surprise, flying monkey, Easter egg, deep fried donut, pizza, I love pizza, hamburger, hot dog, spaghetti, cookies and cream, cheese and biscuits, ramen, raisins, fish and chips, tomato sauce, egg and bacon, egg and no bacon, bacon and no egg, no bacon and no egg, no bacon and no egg is nothing. And scoops 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 and scoops. So there's Pokemon out of that one. Summer holiday, new bicycle, yummy. Christmas morning, definitely. Coconut, falling coconut, bubblegum, definitely. Lemonade, definitely. Confetti, definitely. Butterscotch, definitely. Hot butter, popcorn, definitely. Melted cheese, I'd love that. And Vegemite on toast, breakfast and bed. Marshmallow, definitely. Snakes and ladders, cactus, no spikes, cactus with spikes, fresh rain, electric storm, brain freeze, camel hump, fairy bread, bath foam, and scoops 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 and spooks and scoops and scoops and scoops. So there's blue heaven, black forest, dark side of the moon, total eclipse, birthday cake, lolly bag, lollipop, toffee apple, daddy fall, rainbow sherbet, honeycomb, chocolate, licorice, invisible, Oh, definitely. I've been invisible. Tutti frutti, salt and vinegar, jelly snake, jelly bean, fudge, rocky road, yellow brick road, winding road, dirt road. Finally, Teddy's ice cream is ready. That's a lot of scoops, I say. I know, he says. But the readers all suggested different flavors, and I didn't want to disappoint anyone, so I decided to have them all. Make sure you don't eat too fast, I say. You don't want to get brain freeze. I want, says Teddy. I'll eat really slowly while you tell the story. Oh, that rhymes. I'll eat really slowly while you tell the story. That rhymes really good. All right, I say, here goes. Once upon a time, there was a little boy who had the world's horrible, terrible, meanest parents in the whole world wide. On the whole wide world. They were, they were very strict and had all sorts of moral rules and regulations that they forced the poor little boy to follow. House rules, sob. For example, they made him wear his shoes, clean his teeth, good boy, mirror, shoes, brush his hair, wear a hat when it was sunny, and a coat when it was cold. They made him help out around the house, do his homework, eat with a knife and fork, and wouldn't let him stay up all night whenever he felt like it. 7 p.m. bedtime, but the movie hasn't even started. It was clear to the boy that there was never going to be an end to his parents' unreasonable rules and regulations, and he decided that he had no choice but to run away from home. And so he did. The little boy loved his new life and was very happy, which wasn't surprising because he didn't have to follow his parents' boring rules anymore. He didn't have to wear shoes or brush his hair or wear a hat when it was sunny or a coat when it was cold or go to school or eat with a knife and fork, slurp. And he could stay up all night when he felt like it, which was pretty much every night. He found or borrowed all the food he needed and became very good at building all sorts of shelters, especially tree houses. Stupid ice cream. One day, however, when the little boy was in the fancy restaurant borrowing some food, he accidentally knocked over one of the tables. An angry waiter chased the boy out of the restaurant, down the street, across the park. Eventually, the boy came to a lake where there were lots of small shaped pedal boats for hire. The little boy couldn't afford to hire a pedal boat, of course, so he borrowed one instead and headed for the far side of the lake, pedaling as fast as his little legs could pedal him. What he didn't realize, however, was that the lake wasn't really a lake, but it was an inlet connected to the ocean, and he was carried far out to sea. Tongue hurts. He floated in his pedal boat for many days and many nights. What? before spotting what looked like a small island with two hills in the distance. He pedaled towards the island, but as he drew closer, he saw that it wasn't an island at all. It was a little boy floating in an enormous pair of inflatable underpants. Hey, says Terry, I've got a pair of inflatable underpants. I know, says Terry. I say, sorry, because that boy was you. Oh, that's right, and the boy in the peddler boat was you. You rescued me. That's how we met. I love stories with a happy ending. But that's not the end. It's not? No, because then we were captured by Captain Woodenhead. Who's Captain Woodenhead, says Teddy. You know, I say. Captain Woodenhead. The pirate. Pirates, says Teddy? I hate pirates. Speaking of pirates, says Phil, coming into the kitchen carrying Captain Woodenhead. Woodenhead, would you want to come? Would you want me to do with this? It wasn't a nappy, says Teddy. I was wearing emergency self-inflating underpants. They get a bit baggy when they deflate. And Andy was so scared he was crying, says Jill. I wasn't crying. I was just spray from the sea. It was just spray from the sea. But how come you were on Captain Woodenhead's ship in the first place, Jill? Says Terry. Well, that's kind of a sad story, says Jill. Oh, goody, says Terry. I love sad stories. Okay, says Jill. But you'll have to wait to until the next chapter. Oh, says Terry, disappointed. Don't worry, says Jill. You don't have to wait long. It's just the next page. Yay, says Terry. Yeah. Pearl. Chapter 7. Jill's story. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who loved animals, and she just loved them. She could also understand them, and they could understand her. She spent every spare moment of her time with animals and helped them whenever possible. But what the little girl wanted more than anything was a pet of her very own. And even though her parents were really rich, she could have afforded her to buy her millions of pets. They wouldn't let her even have one, not even an ant. Can I have a pet cat? Cats are annoying. Can I have a pet dog? Dogs are noisy. Can I have a pet guinea pig? Too smelly. What about a pet crab? Too pinchy. Lots of excuses. Readers. The only thing her parents were interested in was having parties with their fancy friends on board their luxury super yacht. One day the little girl was on deck of her parents' yacht when she saw an enormous fish. It was creamy white with large greenish blue veins all over its body, and it smelled like moldy old cheese. The little girl, who knew everything there was to know about animals, recognized it at once as the legendary gorgonzola, the greediest and the most disgusting fish in the ocean. It stunk like stinky cheese. It was named after and swam around the world, eating everything in its path. As the little girl watched in horror, Gonzola swam closer and closer and closer. The girl called out to her parents to warn them, but they were partying too loudly to hear her. She leaned over the rail to ask Gorgonzola to please not eat her parents' yacht, but she leaned over too far, lost her balance, and fell out of the water. For a moment, she feared that she would become Gonzala's next meal, but she was too small that Gonzala didn't even notice her. The little girl cried out for help, but her voice could not be heard above the clinking champagne glasses and the laughter of the guests aboard the yacht. She just bobbed helplessly in the water and watched as her parents' super yacht, pursued by Gorgonzola, vanished into the distance. The little girl was wondering what to do next when an iceberg floated by. She climbed onto it and was astonished to find a tiny kitten sitting at the top. She picked up the kitten and hugged it. She had never ever felt such soft, silky fur. "I'm going to call you Silky," she said. "Hey, that's like the name of your cat," said Teddy. "That's because it is my cat," says Jill. "That's how Silky and I met. This is my story, remember?" "Oh yeah," says Teddy. "I got so caught up I forgot. But why was Silky floating on an iceberg in the middle of the ocean?" "I see. Unfortunately, thousands of unwanted kittens are abandoned on icebergs every year," says Jill, tears in her eyes. "And not just kittens, it happens to lots of other animals too. Just listen to the rest of my story and you will see." As Silky and I floated on the iceberg, we rescued 2 dogs, a goat, three horses, 4 goldfish, 1 cow, 6 rabbits, 2 guinea pigs, 1 camel, 1 donkey and a donkey. But with all those animals on board the iceberg, it was getting very crowded and very warm, and the warmer it got, the more iceberg melted. It slowly got smaller and smaller and smaller until finally it was no bigger than an ice block. "But what happened?" says Teddy. Did you all drown? No, we didn't drown, says Jill. We saw a ship. Thank goodness, says Terry. Yeah, that's why we thought that first. That's what we thought at first, says Jill. How I and all animals came to be captured by the terrifying, horrible and hideous pirate, Captain Woodenhead. I hate pirates, says Terry. Me too, says Jill. And me, I say. Chapter 8. Why we hate pirates so much. Now, in case you're wondering why we hate pirates so much, it's because, as both Jill and I have already mentioned, we were all captured by a pirate. And not just any pirate, we were captured by the world's worst pirate of them all, Captain Woodenhead. Do you remember the wooden head we found in the shark? If you don't, go back to page 65 and have a look. So if you didn't see, then I'll just go back to page 65. So here's page 65, that's Captain Woodenhead's head. The sharks, remember I written it? The sharks ate it, but you'll see. How did they get those sharks? This way back to page 65. If you don't remember the wooden head, you already know what a horrible looking pirate Captain Woodenhead was. And you know, you can go straight to the start of the next paragraph and read the rest of the story. And then you will understand why we hate pirates so much. This way to the next paragraph. As Jill has already mentioned, Captain Woodenhead was one of the most terrifying, horrible and hideous wooden-headed pirates of ever to sail the 7 seas. Sure, he rescued us all, but only to turn us into his pirate slaves, even the animals. As for me and Teddy and Jill, Captain Woodenhead forced us to peel enormous piles of potatoes. I hate pirates. Be quiet. Captain Woodenhead will hear you. Risk our lives repairing the rigging. I hate pirates. Be quiet. Captain Woodenhead will hear you. And dig deep holes for all of his chests of stolen treasure. Be quiet. Captain Woodenhead will hear you. I hate pirates. And worst of all, he made us clean and polish the poop deck. Oh, gross, there's poop on the poop deck. Why do you think it's called poop deck? Duh. One day we were cleaning the poop deck when Teddy said, I hate pirates. They're disgusting. How many times do I have to tell you? I say, keep your voice down. Captain Woodenhead might hear you. He won't hear me, says Teddy. He's only got stupid wooden ears. He's a stupid headed wooden-eared poopy pants. Hey, I heard that, bellowed Captain Woodenhead, who was hiding behind a barrel. I've had enough of your munches mutterings. It's the plank for you lot, and your stinking animals. Not the animals, said Jill. They don't do anything. Yes, they did, said Captain Woodenhead. They're stinking up my ship. just like you and your nappy wearing crybaby friends. Get walking. He pulled out his cutlass and began using it to prod us towards the plank. Hey, cut it out, I said, batting his cutlass away with the handle of my mop. That thing hurts. Ah, so it's a fight you want, is it? Said Captain Woodenhead. Well, I'll give you a fight and garde. I barely had time to get my mop into position before he came rushing at me waving his cutlass. I swiped, he swiped, I ducked, I swiped, he ducked. He swiped, I ducked, I swiped, he ducked. I swiped, he ducked. Bonk. He swiped, I ducked. I swiped, he ducked, but a little too late. Bonk. His wooden head went flying off his neck over the side of the ship and splashed into the water below. It bobbed around on the surface for a moment before one of the sharks that were always hanging around the boat leapt out of the water and swallowed it in one gulp. Uh-oh, said Terry. I don't think Captain Woodenhead's head is going to like that, or his body either, said Jill. Look out. Captain Woodenhead's headless body was staggering angrily around the deck, wildly swiping the heads of any crew members unfortunate enough to get in his way. We had to get out of there and fast, but the only safe place was the plank. We ran onto it, me, Terry and Jill, and all the animals. We huddled in a big trembling bunch, hoping we'd be safe. And we were, but not for long. Soon Captain Woodenhead's body began stumbling out after us. We looked at the man-eating sharks. We looked at the angry headless pirate with the enormous rod coming towards us. We looked at each other. Jump, I said. Jump, said the others. We jumped. The sharks formed a hungry circle around us. Yikes, said Teddy. We are going to be eaten alive. No, we're not, said Jill. I'll have to talk to them. And she did. And not only did she convince them not to eat us, but she also got them to help us escape in our paddle boat, which was tied to the back of the pirate ship. The sharks quickly chewed the thick ropes and then pulled us through the water faster than any paddle boat has ever traveled before.
Are you showing your face?
But as fast as Captain Woodenhead was traveling, he couldn't shake Captain Woodenhead. He was speeding after us in his ship, now wearing a lampshade in place of his head. And when you might have a thought things couldn't get any worse, well, they did. A huge storm blew up and it began to rain and rain and rain. There was booming thunder, kaboom, bolts of lightning, hailstones as big as baseballs, and enormous waves. Our little pedal boat was tossed about like a toy on the rough seas, and before we knew it, it was surfing down in the face of the biggest wave any of us had ever seen. The trouble was so that the trouble was so, but the pirate ship. It was surfing down at the wave right behind us. That's when we saw land up ahead. Well, when I say land, I mean a wall of steepy rocky cliffs. Our little pedal boat crashed in onto the rocks, but amazingly we managed to make it safely to shore. The pirate ship, however, wasn't so lucky. It smashed into pieces, and we never saw Captain Woodenhead or any of his crew ever again. Over the next few days, we collected pieces of Captain Woodenhead's broken up pirate ship and used these to build our first level of our treehouse. We also decided to keep the sharks because even though they are they are scary, they are also, as I mentioned earlier, really cool. Meanwhile, Jill found an abandoned cottage on the other side of the forest and decided it would make a perfect home for her and all her animals. Anyway, that's the story of how we all met and how we came to be living here and why we hate pirates so much. Wow, Steve Steady, you're really good at storytelling stories. And Andy, as you were describing the storm, I could practically feel the wind and the rain, see the lightning and hear the thunder. Yeah, me too. Guys, says Jill, I hate to tell you this, but the reason why you can feel wind and the rain, see lightning and hear thunder is because Andy is such a good storyteller, but because they are wind and rain and lightning and thunder, there's a very big storm heading our way. Uh-oh, Jill's right. We are in for a rough night. We'd better stop doing a book for a while and make sure the tree house is okay. Stay dry and see you when the storm's over. That looks like a big house out there, everybody. Chapter 9. Flood Sam, Dead Sam and Cast Aways. Oh, there you are. Hello, what a night that was. Some storm, huh? Hope you didn't get too wet. We got a lot wet, and there's quite a bit damage to the tree house, which is why we come down to the beach. I just want to scavenge a few bits and pieces to help us fix it up again. And there's lots of bits and pieces down here because the ship was wrecked during the night. It's quite a coincidence actually, considering that I've just been telling you the story of how we and Captain Woodenhead and his crew were shipwrecked here. Because it's a very dangerous coastline and that was a very rough storm. Everything we needed is here. There are planks of wood, torn pieces, sail barrels, wooden chests, heaps of ropes. rope piles of potatoes, and even a cannon. Cool. I've always wanted a cannon. Why, says Jill? Because they're really useful. Really useful for what? I don't know, lots of stuff, says Daddy. Say, say a book to publish. You, you could put it in the cannon and fire it across. Oh yeah, I didn't think of that, says Jill. Terry and I collect armfuls of wood and rope and load them into Jill's flying cat sleigh. Hey, you guys, come here. From further up the beach, come here, quick. Terry and I run to join her. She's standing in front of a body lying face down on the sand. He must be one of the sailors from the ship, he says. Look, there's another one, says Terry. And here's another one, I say, rushing down the water to pull a waterlogged body onto the sand. And then we find another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and yet another, until we have found 10 in all. Do you think they're dead, says Terry, poking one with a stick. Out, says Tony. No, I don't think so. I say, not at least. At least not that one. The body rolls over, sits up and blinks. We all gasp. And it's not because we are surprised he's alive, but because of his appearance, he's horrible. Although the ship was wrecked last night, this sailor looks like he has been in the water for months. He's got mold all over his face. And there are barnacles attached to his chin, and he doesn't smell too good either. He stinks of weird combination of rotten fish and moldy old cheese. Who are you? He says, staring at us. I'm Andy, I say, and this is Terry, and that's Jill. Who are you? I'm the captain from the ship that was wrecked in the storm last night. Don't worry, we'll look after you, says Jill. I'll get my flying cats to airlift you and your crew back into the treehouse. And Scotty, says the captain. I must be delirious. I thought you said flying cats. I did, says Jill. This is Silky and the 12 flying cat friends. Silky, says the captain. I once knew a cat called Silky, but she was a kitten. She couldn't fly, of course, but made a great slave though. Slave, says Jill, sounding shocked. Did I say slave, says the captain? I meant sailor. Like I said, I must delirious. I don't want to be rude, says Terry. But what happened to your head? It's a long story, says the captain, and not a particular pretty one. Oh goody, says Terry. I love long stories, especially not particular pretty ones. Well, all right, says the captain. I'll tell you if you want, but don't say you won't want. Chapter 10. The Pirates. The pirate captain story. Once upon a time, there was a bad little boy who dreamed of nothing else but going to sea and becoming a pirate. And when he grew up, he did exactly that. He became a pirate captain, sailing in the 7 seas in his very own pirate ship with his very own pirate crew. The pirate spent his days plundering ships, burying treasure, making prisoners walk the plank, Bye bye, Grandma. And was as happy as any pirate captain could possibly do. That is until one day his ship was attacked by a huge, disgusting fish that looked and smelled like moldy old piece of cheese, a really stinky old moldy piece of blue-green cheese. Gorgonzola, says Jill. That's right, says the captain, exactly like Gorgonzola. No, I mean its name was Gorgonzola, says Jill. The very one, says the captain. But how would a land lubber like you know about a thing like that? Jill knows everything. She knows everything about animals, says Teddy. Is that right, says the captain, studying Jill carefully before going on with his story. The pirate captain drew his cutlass and tried to spear Gorgonzola from the deck of his ship, but he leaned over the side and the fiendish Gorgonzola leaped right over the water and a bit of the pirate's head clean off his neck. The pirate was a tough old sea dog and he wasn't going to let the loss of a head stop him. He carved a replacement of a head of wood, and that time he was known as Captain Woodenhead. We knew Captain Woodenhead, said Teddy. Do you know? says the captain, turning his gaze on Teddy. Yes, says Teddy, but he wasn't very nice. He captured us and turned us into slaves. Well, shiver me timbies. That must have been the very captain I'm talking about. Were you boys in a pedal boat by any chance? Yes, I see, a swan-shaped pedal boat. He turns to Jill. And don't tell me you were floating on an iceberg with a bunch of animals. Yes, says Jill. 2 dogs, a goat, 3 horses, 4 goldfish, 1 cow, 6 rabbits, 2 guinea pigs, 1 camel, 1 donkey, and 1 kitten. The captain looks at us amazed. Well, blast my not wooden eyes, he says. It really is you. The story goes that you knocked the captain's head off with a mop. Well, yes, I see. But he was trying to slice mine with a sword. We escaped and he chased us, but then we all got caught in a terrible storm. Our paddle boat and the pirate ship were smashed to pieces on the rocks. We were the only survivors. We used the wreckage of the pirate ship to build our treehouse. Look, you can see it up there. A pirate ship? The captain says slowly. You used a pirate ship to build yourself a cubby house? Not a cubby house, says Teddy, a tree house, a 13-story tree house. 26 actually, I say. We recently added 13 more stories. But you had no right, says the captain. That ship didn't belong to you. No, but it was wrecked. And the captain and all his crew were dead, says Teddy. That's where you were wrong, he says. You didn't let me finish the pirate captain story. Sorry, says Teddy. What happened next? Well, if you just be quiet for the next 14 pages, I'll tell you. After the shipwreck, Captain Woodenhead crew were round, but he survived. Luckily, the lampshade he was using as a temporary head kept him afloat for many days until he once again encountered his nameless Gorgonzola. This time, though, instead of just taking his head, Gorgonzola swallowed him whole. Oh, that fish's belly was a foul and friendless prison in which to be trapped. They say that beast ate everything in its path, and judging by the contents of its disgusting stomach, it was all too true. It was like a sea-going garbage dump in there. Floaties, life rings, flippers, fish rods, seagulls, shipping containers, wetsuits, surfboards, jet skis, luxury super yachts, World War II sea mines, barrels of dynamite, experiment armored, miniature bicycle powered submarines, you name it, it was there. But among all of the floatsmen and jetsmen in that stinking stomach, the captain found one of a certain incredible value that he had wept when he saw it. Captain Woodenhead's original flesh and blood head showed a little waterlogged and moldy. I'll grant you that, but otherwise as handsome as stalking as a head as ever sat up atop the neck of a pirate. So then, when he did what any self-respecting pirate captain would have done, he collected up the balls of dynamite, tied them together, lit the fuse, and then blasted that beast to pieces. Kablam! That looks like a big tsunami. I think Captain Woodenhead would have been blasted to pieces, but he wasn't. See, inside heavily armored bicycle-powered mini submarine, he survived the explosion and made his escape. But long before he found a suitable ship, assembled a new crew of cutthroats eager to do his bidding. And returned to his life as a pirate. He was happy as could be until one night he was caught in another terrible storm, and his boat was wrecked on the very same shore that my original ship was wrecked. Excuse me, says Jill. Did you say my original ship? Are you Captain Woodenhead? Aye, says the captain. You're a smart girl. Captain Woodenhead and myself are indeed one and the same. Run, says Jill. It's Captain Woodenhead. Well, says Teddy, looking around. There, I say, pointing at the pirate captain. Him, says Teddy, but he doesn't have a wooden head. Won't you listening, Teddy, says Jill. He just told us the whole story. He found his original head in Gorgonzola's belly. Yikes, says Teddy. Let's get out of here. Not so far, says Captain Woodenhead, jumping up and grabbing us in a pirate hug, now which is like a bear hug, only pirate style. Now we've got you, and I'm going to make you pay for what you did to me. But it was all your fault, I say. You started by kidnapping us and making us into slaves. That may be so, but you knocked my head off with a mop and shipwrecked my boat, stole pieces. So now I'm going to claim your treehouse, and all who sail in it in the name of Captain Woodenhead. He turns to the castaways. All right, you scurvy Mongols, get up. The treehouse is ours. As the captain commanded his crew stagger to their feet. The captain hands us over to the three of the biggest ones while the others obediently begin climbing up the cliffs towards the treehouse. If we kick and struggle against our captors, but it's no use. They are too strong. Well, I guess that's it. I say no more treehouse. I never fear, says Teddy, lifting up his t-shirt. My emergency self-inflating underpants are here. Watch this. He pulls at a small cord hanging out the front of his trousers. Womp! Terry's underpants inflate so quickly and with such force that the pirates holding us are thrown backwards onto the sand. The three pirates jump back up, cutlass in hand. Hold on to me, says Teddy. He steps forward towards them. What are you doing, Teddy, says Jill. You're wearing self-inflatable underpants. They've got really sharp swords. I know, says Teddy. That's the idea. Before I can ask him anything, the idea is there's a loud pop. Pop! Pop! Followed by an enormous push of air, and we blast up into the sky. Whoosh! We soar, we dive, we climb, we plummet. We loop once, twice, 3 times, and then smash! We're hanging from the branch of a tree, a big tree. I don't believe it. It's our tree. Sorry about the rough ride, says Teddy. I don't really know how to fly these things. That's quite okay, I say, untangling myself from the tattered shards of rubber. But what I want to know is why were you wearing an emergency self-inflating underpants? Because my normal underpants are dirty, says Terry. That's why I was washing them, remember? Oh yeah, says I say. That seems like so long now. It's only been 200 pages, says Terry. 213 actually, says Jill. There won't be many more pages in this book if we don't protect the treehouse against the pirates. Look, they're already here. We look down. Jill's right. The pirates have already scaled the cliffs and surrounded the trunk of our tree. Open up, yells Captain Woodenhead, pounding on the door. Sorry, I say, members only. Now come on, Andy, says Captain Woodenhead. Let me and my crew in. I promise nothing bad will happen. Forgive and forget. That's my motto. But what about my stuff you said on the beach? About making us pay and how you were going to claim our treehouse for yourself. Captain Woodenhead roars with laughter. Oh, don't take any notice of that. He says that was just silly pirate talk. We all want to come in. Take off our boots and rest our very waterlogged bones for a couple of days, and then we'll be on our way. Sorry, I say, but I'm afraid the answer is still no. Alright, then you leave me no option. We're going to blast our way in, says Captain Woodenhead, suddenly turning nasty again. Men, prepare the cannon. Oh no, says Terry. What are we going to do? Let them in. I say, are you crazy, says Jill. You're just going to let them in? Yes, I say. I know it sounds crazy, but I just had an idea. Why don't you remember that nursery time where all of the pirates get killed one at a time? Of course, says Jill. 10 unlucky pirates is one of my favorite. But how is a nursery rhyme going to help us now? Even if it does have 10 pirates in it. Well, I say, even the craziest nursery rhyme does have a grain of truth in them. They take Hey Diddle Diddle for instance. Everybody thinks it's a made up story about a cow jumping over the moon, but in 1864 in Dorset, England, the cow really did jump over the moon. Really, says Terry. Yes, I say, and rockabye baby, there's a baby in the cradle in the treetops, and when the wind blows, the cradle falls down. Well, scientifically, the studies show that you put a baby in the cradle in the treetops, and the wind blows the cradle, and the baby really will fall down. That's incredible, says Terry. Who would ever have thought about that? And of course, Little Miss Muffet. That actually happened to me, says Jill. I was sitting there on my tuffet eating my breakfast when along a spider came and sat down beside me and frightened me away. But I thought you loved all animals, says Terry. Not spiders, says Jill. Nobody likes spiders. Not even spiders like spiders. Or. Well, anyway, I see the point is, if I'm right, then 10 unlucky pirates suggest there are 10 pirates and our treehouse is going to be a bad combination. I hope you know that what you're doing, Andy, says that me too. I say, I'll give you one last chance to surrender peacefully, bellows Captain Wooden, and otherwise I'll blast you and your treehouse to pieces in a very non-peaceful way. That won't be necessary. I say, we have had a quick meeting and decide to allow you and all your crew free membership with access to all treehouse facilities, including unlimited use of the marshmallow machine, the lemonade fountain, and the ice cream parlor. Well, that's more like it. Says the captain amid rousing cheers from his crew. I climb down, open the door, and the pirates barge in excitedly. Within moments, they have climbed the ladder and made it to the main level. Well, I must say Captain Woodenhead, looking around the treehouse, you've made yourself quite a place out of the pieces of my boat. I think my crew and I are going to be very happy here, very happy indeed, especially with you three as our slaves. Slaves, says Terry, but I thought you said if we let in, nothing bad would happen to you. There are plenty of things worse than being a pirate slave, my lad, says Captain Woodenhead. There's having your head bitten off by a huge fish that stinks like molten cheese, old cheese. That's pretty bad. And then there's being swallowed by a huge fish that stinks like moldy cheese. And that's not particularly pleasant either. Also, having your ship wrecked in a storm and the pieces stolen by thieves isn't much fun either, in case you're wondering. Hey, Captain, yells one of the pirates, look at the vine. Come and have a swing with us. Captain Woodenhead crews are standing at the edge of the deck, clinging to a vine. I swear my ex-Woodenhead, that is mighty fine wine, says the captain. Then he turns back to us. You three stay here. I'm just going to have a quick swing and then I'll be back to tell you how things are going to be around here from now on. The captain runs across with mighty leap, joins his crew on the vine. They push off and they swinging are wide from the vine treehouse. Well, so far so good, I say. What are you talking about, says Teddy. The pirates have taken over the treehouse and we are being back to pirate slaves again. Yes, but not for long, I say. The first verse of the 10 unlucky pirates is 10 unlucky pirates swinging on a vine, where one fell off and there were 9. And then and look what's happening, 10 pirates swinging on a vine. See what I meant? See what I mean about nursery rhymes containing the truth? All we have to do is wait. I have to admit, it looks pretty dangerous. See, steady. There are 10 pirates. On that is clear only 9 pirate wine. Well, it can be dangerous. See, steady. Watching them towards the ice skating rink. Nobody's fallen off yet. No, not yet, I say, crossing the fingers on both of my hands, but any moment now. There's a blood-curdling scream as one of the pirates loses his grip and goes plummeting downwards. Ee-ah! I'll be very quick. We peer over the edge and at the pirate-shaped hole in the ground below. You're right, say steady. But what about the others? Paff. Exactly. Exactly the ice skating rink, I say, which is exactly where the pirates' run predicts they would be. 9 unlucky pirates learning to skate. If one of my calculations are correct, any moment we should be hearing a loud crack, crack. Like that, say steady. Exactly like that, I say. I think we can safely let the Rhine take it from here. 9 unlucky pirates learning to skate. One cracked through the ice and there were 8. 8 unlucky pirates riding the mechanical bull Kevin. One got bucked and then there were 7. 7 unlucky pirates making rockin' pirate music. One got electrocuted and they were 6. 6 unlucky pirates doing sonorous dive. One missed the swimming pool and then there were 5. 5 unlucky pirates eating ice cream galore. One got a brain freeze and then there were 4. 4 unlucky pirates playing in a tree. One sat on the catapult and then there were 3. 3 unlucky pirates getting a tattoo. The ATM manufactured and then there were 2. Slurp. That's the automatic tattoo machine in case you've forgotten. 2 unlucky pirates mud fighting in the sun. One got baked hard and then there was 1. That's amazing, Andy, says steady. Everything just happened so quickly. There's just only 1 pirate left. Unfortunately, it's the worst one, Captain Woodenhand. And here he comes. Don't panic, I say. There's still 1 more verse. 1 unlucky pirate with a cutlass and a gun. He got lost in the maze of doom. And then there were 1. Well, it's kind of right, says Teddy. He's got a cutlass and a gun, but he's not lost in the maze of doom. He's not even in the maze of doom. Not yet, I say, but very soon we will. But he will soon will be. Let's go where, says Teddy. Into the maze of doom, but it's dangerous, says Teddy. Look at this right now. I know what the sign says, but Captain Woodenhead is in more dangerous. He's got a cutlass and a gun, remember? Oh yeah, good point, says Terry. Let's go. We run into the maze. Captain Woodenhead runs after us exactly as I had hoped he would. Chapter 12, the Maze of Doom. We turn left, we turn right, we turn left again, then turn right, then right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, and then left until we hit a dead end. We are all bent over, double panting. I think we lost him, I say. But yes, but now we're lost too, I say, Israel. No, we're not. I say all I have to do, we just did it. But I'm not going to reverse running backwards. I mean, that's what a simple matter of retracting our steps. Just follow me. Then left, left, then right. Left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left. Unless I'm very much mistaken, I say, we should have seen the entrance around the next right. But we'd but we don't. All we see is another dead end. And I do mean dead, because there's a skeleton wearing a postman's hat slumped against a wall. Isn't that Bill the postman's hat? Says Jill. So that's why we haven't been getting any mail, says Terry. That's so sad, says Jill. I know, says Terry, because I really like getting mail. No, I mean, but about Bill, I was very quite fond of him. No, so was I say, but it's not our fault. The warning sign that Clear posted, it's not called the Maze of Doom for nothing, you know. But we entered, says Jill. That's because it was an emergency. So, how do we get out? Says Jill. We don't know, says Terry. What do you mean we don't know? You built it, didn't you? There are emergency exits, but there aren't any. I say the mazes all have emergency exits, says Jill. This maze of doom, I explained, it doesn't have any emergency exits. That would be cheating. Oh no, says Terry, we're going to end up as skeletons, just like Bill the Postman. Not necessarily, says Jill, looking skywards. Listen. To what? Says Terry. It's that soft fluttering sound, says Jill. Unless I'm very mistaken, that sounds of Silky and her friends. Silky is going to save us, says Jill. We all have to do is follow her. And sure enough, Jill's right. Before long, we are making our way out of the maze, back to safety of the treehouse. Thanks, Silky, says Terry. You are an even better guide than Superfinger. That's because Silky is real, says Jill. Superfinger is just a character you and Annie made up from your last book, remember? Oh yeah, says Terry. Speaking of books, I say, let's get back to finishing this one. I don't think Captain Woodenhead will be giving us any more trouble. He will never make it out of there alive. But I wouldn't be so sure about that, says Terry, pointing behind me. I turned to Captain Woodenhead, emerging from the maze. But how could you possibly find your way out of there? I gasped as we react across the deck. That's the most complicated maze in the world. It's the Maze of Doom. A couple of lucky guesses, I suppose, says Captain Woodenhead, advancing towards us, slicing and dicing the air with his cutlass. Well, lucky for me, it is not so lucky for you. He's right about that. This time there's no escape. We're right at the edge of the deck. Below us is the shark tank. You've ruined everything, says Captain Woodenhead. My wooden head, 2 of my ships, and now you've destroyed my crew as well. But I'll have revenge. Prepare to die. Captain Woodenhead raises his arm into the air, cutlass flashing in the sun. Get ready to jump, I say. No, don't even think about it, says Jill. Those sharks are not going to be disturbed. Quite, you two, says Jill. Look up, listen. To what? Says Jill. The weird noise. Unless I'm very much mistaken, it's the sound of a fish head that has been blasted off its body and has gone to orbit Earth, falling back to Earth. We hear the whooshing sound and the terrifying head of God Gonzalo rushing straight towards us. Teddy grabs me and Jill and pulls us clear. Gorgonzola's head lands right on top of Captain Woodenhead. He staggers around. He loses his footing and falls off the deck, right into the shark tank. Splash! There is a wild frenzy of flashing fins and teeth, and then all is quiet. Looks like the sharks are feeling better, says Terry. Yes, I say, they are definitely got a B-shade back. I hope his underpants are more clean, says Jill. Chapter 13, the last chapter. You know, there's nothing like a session in the anti-gravity chamber to really help you relax after a stressful couple of days, the ones we have just been through, though. So, It's so peaceful and just been through. It's so peaceful and floaty and anti-gravitational. Ring, 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 ring. Uh-oh, says Daddy, that's a video phone. It must be Mr. Big Nose. He's right. I'd better go and answer it. What took you so long, sir, Mr. Big Nose? I'm a busy man. You know, sorry. I was relaxing in the anti-gravity chamber. Relaxing? What about your new book? It's all done, I say. Then why isn't it on my desk? Don't worry, I say. It'll be very, very soon. But it's been a bit hectic around here. It'll be very soon. Spare me the details, says Mr. Big Nose. I don't need to pay for excuses. I'll pay you for the books, and if the new one isn't on my desk by 5 minutes, then I won't be paying you at all the end, and you can find yourself a new publisher. But I thought we had until next Friday. You did, but the schedule has changed, says Mr. Big Nose. 5 minutes or else the screen goes blank. What's the matter, Andy, says Jill. It's the new book. I say the schedule hasn't been changed. Instead of being due next week, now it's due in 5 minutes. I hate Mr. Big Nose, says Teddy. Be quiet. I say he won't hear you. What about the new book you talking about, says Jill. This one. I say, and it's about me and Teddy really met. You are in it as well. Really, says Jill. I can see it, sure. It's really good, says Jill when she's finished. I love stories with a happy ending. Me too, says Teddy. But that's the thing, I say. It's not going to have a happy ending unless we get it to Mr. Big Nose on time. Why don't we use Captain Woodenhead's cannon, says Teddy. We can put the book in and then blast it straight to him. It'll get there in no time. Great idea. I say, let's load it in. Okay, says Teddy. All done. Can we light the fuse? Sure, I say. I hand him the match. 3, 2, 1, blam! A book. I said, listen. That looks like fun, says Jill. I can try it. No problem, says Teddy. Hop in. So that's it, says Teddy. We're finished. Do we have free time now? Sure, we sure do, I say. Our next book is due for at least a year. Great, says Teddy, because we have drawn a setup plan for 13 stories that I'd like our opinion on. The 39 story treehouse. The end. So friends, thank you for listening. Please subscribe comment down below and share. Thank you.